Your biggest reason for optimism in this year's team?
So a couple of reasons, Joey, and thank you for your question. Just in general, while I certainly can grumpy old man and grouch with the best of them, I am an optimist when it comes to life in general and when it comes to my national team. I am not sticking my head in the sand, and I am not, like I said, just looking through a rose-colored glasses type of thing. But I do believe in seeing things as glass half full as opposed to half empty. But again, not without reason. And when it comes to this U.S. men's national team, what gives me optimism is they have shown it in the past. So at least I have a history where they have risen to the occasion and they have played in a way that has made me proud and excited and ultimately has been successful in big games. Number two, the youth of this team. It gets me excited that we are sending the youngest team to the World Cup. It doesn't mean that there won't be mistakes, and even mistakes that will make you pull out your hair. But I think in general, in the overall scheme of things, it is a good thing. I think that that youth will serve them well. I think that they will use that youth to have that youthful swagger, to be able to recognize the opportunity. The other thing is, I think that there's much greater feeling of belonging for these players and this generation and this team. They're not necessarily strangers in a strange land when it comes to not just playing in a World Cup, but playing overseas and playing at big clubs and playing in big games. And therefore, they're not as wide-eyed as my generation kind of just was and had to be. And, I guess finally it goes back to that inherent, optimism of believing that when it comes to a World Cup, magical things can happen for all teams and for all players. But in this case, I'm looking at it from a U.S. perspective. And the belief and the confidence in yourself that you will be able to tap into magic along with your talent and your ability, I hold that even though I'm not kicking a ball. And I love it when I see it in anyone, and in particular when it comes to this U.S. team. It's not without fault, and it's not without problems and challenges when it comes to this team. And it's certainly not a perfect team, and it can get their ass kicked, and it can make mistakes. But it's still a team that makes me excited. I'm excited that they're back after not having been there last World Cup. But I'm excited in particular that this team, this group of players, is the one that is taking it upon themselves to bring us back to the World Cup because of how different they are individually and collectively, and how much better and more advanced they are. So I don't know, Mosse. Maybe my belief and my confidence is misplaced, but I'd rather go out being an optimist than a pessimist.
My biggest reason for optimism in the U.S. is watching Gareth Bale play. I'm honest. I'm only half joking.
Oh, I know.
I think
it's strange.
I continue to say I think this is the very favorable group for the U.S. I'm trying to think back to U.S. World Cup teams from '94 on down, and how many of them wouldn't get out of this? I think most of them would, if you think about it. England, Wales, Iran. I think. I know Iran showed in this recent window they're better than we thought. They beat Uruguay. They've got some players. But I still think overall this is a group set up for the U.S. to get out of it.
Yeah, so do it. All right. And the Bale thing, I mean, we could talk forever on that. It's just very, very strange. And if he's sandbagging, fine. But, he has been a shell of himself, and now he's even more of a shell of himself since he's come over to Major League Soccer. It's mind-numbing.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You like that clip?
Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.